Hey everyone, welcome back to Modern Retro Gal. My name's JL, in case you're new to my channel. And today I thought I would do a little bit of a mental health update. I haven't done one in quite a while. And this is a conversation that I still want to continue on my channel, especially because I think it's important that we continue to talk about it and be open about it. Because there's still like a harsh stigma when it comes to mental illness. So if you're new to my channel and you don't know, I suffer from depression and anxiety. I have for a very long time. I was in a lot of denial about it. I kind of just thought that I was a stressed out stay-at-home mom, and this is what having two kids very close together felt like, especially when they were younger. They're in school now. And I just really was not willing to accept that I was a depressed person. My husband brought it up to me a few times, and I really just was like, no, and dismissed it. And finally, around this time last year, I finally kind of accepted the fact that I was not handling this well on my own and that I needed help. So I've been in treatment for almost a year. I think that I couldn't get appointments until I think November of last year, maybe late October. So that's when it really started. So I think I did an update earlier this year. So I will leave my two original videos down below in the description. So if you have never seen those and you'd like to see kind of where I was and where I'm at now, you can compare and contrast and see that treatment can help. So, first of all, treatment can look like a lot of different things. For me, I see a therapist about depending on my schedule and his schedule, every about 5 to 8 weeks, somewhere in there. I prefer to not go more than 6 weeks, but sometimes scheduling is that's just how it is. So I also take an antidepressant. I take Prozac, and yeah, that's the gist of where I'm at. The last time I saw my therapist, he basically said where I am at this point is what they call like a mild phase. And it's basically where someone can recognize when things are triggering them to potentially go into a full-blown depression phase, and you're able to sort of do the things that you need to do to keep that from happening. And basically a true phase of depression is something that lasts for at least 2 weeks. So sometimes at this point, sometimes I, may have a few rough days, but I don't have rough weeks, rough months, and rough years anymore. I've kind of learned what those triggers are and my behaviors, which are an indicator that I am starting to go down. My husband's a lot more vocal when he notices things. I try to be a lot more vocal with him about what's going on inside, and if there's something in our life that is just really sort of taking over, and that I just need not for him to deal with it all, but to just give me that emotional support that I'm doing a good job. So the depression is not that I'm cured or that it's totally gone. I'm someone who is going to live with depression the rest of my life. But I know how to manage the symptoms and what I need to do. And I have support from my friends, I have support from my family, I have support from my doctor, my therapist. So I'm in a really good place. Does that mean that everything is, unicorns and rainbows for me? No. In fact, just in the last 2 weeks, it's been kind of rough for me, dealing with some of my daughter's health issues. I don't want to go too much into it because we don't have a lot of answers right now. She does have a joint issue that she inherited from me. And so some things are going on, and we don't know if it's related to that or if it's something else, or we just don't know. We're waiting for a referral to a specialized children's hospital where she has been seen before so that they can do everything and give us hopefully some answers. So I kind of got to the point where I was just feeling like a colossal failure as a parent, as a mom. And I just let my husband know, like, hey, I need a lot of help right now, like support kind of dealing with this. It's really just like causing me severe anxiety and making me just feel like a total failure as a parent because I have to send her to school crying sometimes and in pain, and that, just makes you feel horrible. But at the same time, she needs to be at school so that she doesn't fall behind. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's not all day, but it's chronic pain, and chronic pain gets very, very frustrating. So anyways, as soon as my husband and I just had like a full meltdown cry fest about all of it. And it's not like the stress of waiting has gone away, but I feel a lot better now. So I'm much more vocal about my emotional needs when it comes to things that are causing me anxiety and depression. So, so that's really where I'm at. And my therapist, the last time I saw him, I think I started to tell this story. And I may have gone off on a tangent. But the last time we talked, he kind of asked where I wanted my therapy to go. Did I want to continue with therapy? What did I want to focus on? Because I am in this more kind of mild state. It doesn't need to be quite so like intense. And I told him that I really felt like therapy was important for me to continue. I used to be very like anti-therapy, not for other people, but just for me. And when I started seeing my therapist, and he's amazing. And if you've ever gone to therapy and you didn't feel like it worked for you, then you weren't with the right therapist for you. I really encourage people, like, if you've been in therapy, if you've been thinking about therapy, give it a try. If you're not feeling comfortable after 2 or 3 sessions, because you need to give it a few goes, because the first time is always very awkward, look for another therapist, because this is somebody that you're really going to talk about some of those like weird things that go on in your head, and it's perfectly okay to say those things to them because that's what they're there for. And they're going to give you, we talked about, my therapist and I talked about this, my husband is my support system. He's also Mr. Fix-It. He wants to figure out a way to fix things. And you can't, with mental health and mental illness issues, you can't always just fix it. Sometimes it is what it is. But he tries to figure out, how to take some of the stress off of me and, what I need from him for me to be cool with the family. My parents are obviously my parents, so they're going to be supportive in a more parent way, which is sort of like giving their life advice kind of a thing, even if it doesn't always apply. My friends are my cheerleaders, of course. They're an open ear and a cheerleader and a source of encouragement and advice. But a therapist is someone who is trained to deal with these issues. And so they are going to talk to you in a much more like logical way. Like It's okay that you feel like this. This is a normal thought pattern for depression or anxiety, but let's look at how we can change it so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming and it doesn't cause so much pain, because anxiety and depression do cause a lot of pain. So it's kind of like they're detached, they're not emotionally involved, so they're really able to be like a neutral third party who is trained on how the brain works and how to change thought process and thought patterns when you're going through these issues. So he said that's cool. He agreed. So I will continue therapy. I will continue on my medication. I have not really thought about backing off of it right now. I think that for me, this is just for me, because I have some like real crazy extreme emotions that go from one end to the other, that this medication just kind of balances out those things out and keeps me at a more level playing field. I fully respect and appreciate people who decide to go alternative routes. I have no problem with it. I have no problem with using medication. I think you have to try and do what's right for you. And I tried doing a few alternative routes and I still just struggled. And so this is what's right for me. I still add in alternative things to what I'm doing, if that makes sense. But I don't rely on it solely. And some people can, and that's fine. Like I said, everyone's body chemistry is different and everyone's brain chemistry is different. So everyone's going to react differently to different styles of treatment. So that's kind of just where things are at. And so I kind of had to come to a place of acceptance that this whole process wasn't going to like cure my depression, and a small part of me wanted it to, kind of hoped that it would just sort of cause me to become like this person that I thought and that I want to be. But it didn't. And it doesn't for everyone. And some people just have kind of this lifelong struggle because of their brain chemistry. And so kind of accepting that has been helpful and freeing in a way that I've accepted that I am a person who lives with anxiety and depression, and I have to continue treatment for it, whatever that may look like for the time that I'm going through, whether it's more intense or maintenance, and that's perfectly okay. So that's really kind of where I'm at now. I have good days and bad days like everyone else. Sometimes my bad days are a little bit harder to deal with because of the anxiety and depression, but I recognize kind of those negative thought patterns and behaviors that could lead to a full-blown depression episode. And so I'm able to really kind of bring myself around so that it's only a few days instead of several weeks, months, or years, like it has been in the past. So I hope you all are doing really well. And, if this is something that you are struggling with or living with, and you are not getting any kind of help at all for it, if you've never talked to your doctor about it, not even like therapist or anything like that, but just your regular general doctor about it, I encourage you to open up that line of dialogue. If you have someone in your life that you can really trust to open up to, I really, really encourage you to do that. It's really important. Mental illness is not, it's it's not something to be ashamed of at all. And it's better to ask for help now than getting to a place where you feel like you have no options and you want to give up. We have some very close personal friends that are going through a lot right now, and I'm very proud of them for taking the steps that they need to get help. And yeah, I mean, you know, it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be, and coming up on almost a year now, I'm in a much better place than I was a year ago, let me tell you. So, yeah, I think that's about it. I guess I've kind of rambled on long enough, gotten my point across. I didn't mean for this to be a super long video, but I just wanted to check in and let you guys know how I'm doing. And I'll continue to have these kind of mental health check-ins because, again, I think it's really important to continue talking about it on a larger scale and being okay with talking about it, because that's how we get better. That's how we cope and heal. So anyways, that is it for me. If you are someone who, like I said, if you're someone who's dealing with this and you don't know where to start, you can comment down below. I can try and help you find, you know, based off of where you're at, you know, resources that are local to you. You can always call your insurance company. If you have health insurance, you can call them and find out what is covered and if there's any places that are specific that are covered over other places. You know, you never know until you call and ask. And it's, you know, your insurance isn't going to get cut off just because you're getting help. So anyways, that's it for me. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate all of you who have subscribed to me and supported me along the way. And those of you who have always left really kind comments when I have made these videos and maybe noticed things in other videos that are going on. So yeah, that's it. And I will see you all again soon. Bye-bye.